Mornings used to be something I rushed through. A coffee, news, maybe a quick bite before the day carried me away. But now, in retirement, the morning feels different. Slower, quieter, and sometimes heavier. What I've learned is that how I start my morning sets the tone for everything that follows. Not just for my body, but for my mind too. I am not talking about trendy morning routines or perfect rituals. I am talking about simple habits, things that are easy to do, easy to repeat, and actually help me feel better, physically and emotionally. Especially now after 65, my energy is not endless and my focus shifts easily. That is why these small practical habits have become anchors. They keep me steady. In this video, I will share 7 realistic morning habits that have helped me feel stronger, clearer, and more balanced each day. No pressure, no perfection, just honest routines that make a difference. 1. Drinking warm water with a pinch of sea salt or lemon right after waking up. For years, I never gave much thought to how my body felt first thing in the morning. I would get up, go straight to the coffee pot, and let the day carry me wherever it wanted. But over time, especially after 65, I started waking up feeling dry, sluggish, and oddly tired, even after a full night's sleep. My doctor once told me very simply that our bodies lose water while we sleep. Breathing, sweating, digesting, it all happens quietly through the night. And by the time we wake up, we are already slightly dehydrated. That hit me. I thought about how many years I had started my day in that state and never did anything about it. So now, the very first thing I do before coffee, before breakfast, even before reading the news, is drink a glass of warm water. Not cold, not straight from the fridge, just warm enough to feel soothing. I add either a squeeze of fresh lemon or a tiny pinch of sea salt. Not enough to taste salty, but just enough to help with absorption. This small act does something important. It wakes up my system gently. I can feel it as it goes down. It does not jolt me awake like caffeine. It prepares me, hydrates my brain, gets my digestion moving. And more than anything, it makes me feel like I am taking care of myself before anything or anyone else. There are mornings when my energy is not great. I might feel off, or anxious or low for no particular reason. Drinking water in this slow, intentional way does not fix everything, but it does ground me. It tells my body, we are starting today with care. We are not rushing. We are not ignoring how we feel. We are choosing to be present. Science aside, I just know I feel better on the days I do this. My thoughts are clearer. My stomach feels calmer. I even notice that my joints ache less, probably because I am not starting the day dried out. It also reminds me that good habits do not have to be big to be effective. A glass of water is not a miracle, but done consistently, it is a message to yourself. I matter. I am worth this moment. If you do nothing else from this video, I would say, try this. Put a glass near your bed tonight. Add a slice of lemon if you have it. And when you wake up tomorrow, drink it slowly, with intention. Not to be productive, not to be perfect, just to begin your day gently with something good. Soaking your feet in warm water for 5 minutes before or after breakfast. This one might sound unusual at first, but it is something I started doing on accident, and now I would not skip it for anything. One winter morning, my feet were freezing, even inside the house. I did not feel like walking around. I was stiff and cranky. So I filled a small basin with warm water, placed it by the kitchen chair, and soaked my feet while waiting for my oatmeal to cook. What I expected was a little comfort. What I got was calm. It was like my whole body responded, not just my feet. I felt more relaxed, less tense, more alive. Since then, it has become a regular part of my morning, especially on colder days or when I wake up feeling tired or disconnected. Our feet do a lot of work, even when we are not walking much. They hold the weight of our entire body. They help with balance, and for many older adults, foot circulation gets weaker over time. That can lead to cold toes, numbness, cramps, and even falls. Soaking your feet in warm water helps boost circulation. It gently opens the blood vessels and helps muscles relax. I have found that even 5 minutes makes a noticeable difference in how I move for the rest of the day. But beyond the physical benefit, there is something deeply soothing about this habit. It is quiet. It does not require any screens, instructions, or noise. I usually add nothing but warm water, occasionally a bit of Epsom salt if my joints are aching. I sit in a comfortable chair, sometimes sipping tea, sometimes just breathing. And I let the warmth work its way through me. It is like giving myself permission to slow down, even for a few minutes. A kind of morning meditation that asks nothing from me except to be still. There is also a sense of being cared for in this act. In our younger years, we rarely sit still unless we are sick. But now I am learning that rest is not something we earn by doing enough. It is something we need to build in. This habit may seem small, even silly to some, but to me, it is 5 minutes of comfort, healing, and intention. And that matters more than most people realize. One small tip: make it easy. Keep your basin somewhere accessible. Fill it while your breakfast cooks. Let it become a gentle rhythm. No pressure, no perfection, just warmth, stillness, and the quiet message that your body deserves kindness even before the day begins. 3. Gentle joint movement and light stretching for 5 to 10 minutes inside the home. I never used to think about my joints. They were just there, doing their job. I walked, bent down, lifted things, and moved without giving it a second thought. But these days, everything reminds me of my joints. Getting out of bed, tying my shoes, reaching for something in the kitchen. The stiffness creeps in before I even realize it. And if I ignore it, it stays all day. That is why I started doing a few simple movements each morning. Nothing intense, just a few minutes to loosen up and wake up my body. And let me tell you, it makes a difference. I am not talking about a workout. I am talking about small, steady movements that gently open the body, rolling my shoulders forward and back, turning my head left and right, lifting my arms slowly above my head, circling my wrists and ankles, bending gently at the waist. These are the same motions we used to do instinctively when we were younger and more active. Now I do them mindfully, slowly, with care, not to burn calories or break a sweat, just to remind my body that it is still capable of moving and that it is safe to do so. The first few mornings I felt silly. I thought, what is the point of swinging my arms or doing slow side bends in the living room? But the results spoke for themselves. I stopped waking up with that cement feeling in my back. My hands stopped cramping when I poured coffee. My knees stopped locking up when I stood from the couch. I do not move like I used to, and I probably never will again. But 5 to 10 minutes of gentle movement in the morning tells my body, we are still in this together. Another benefit I noticed, it helps with balance. As we get older, our sense of balance starts to slip quietly. But when I stretch my ankles or lift one foot slightly off the ground to practice standing still, I am building back that awareness. It is small, but it matters, especially when it comes to avoiding falls. You do not need equipment. You do not need a special space. You just need to move. If it helps, turn on music you love. Move to the rhythm, not the rules. Sit in a chair if you need support. Breathe as you move. Let the stretch be enough. On days when I am tired or sore, I might only do a few movements, but those few are better than none. This habit is not about turning back the clock. It is about telling your body, I still care. I still want to feel good. I still want to move through life with as much ease as I can. And starting the day with even the smallest motion can set the tone for everything that follows. Number 4. Eating a protein-rich breakfast, not just carbs. There was a time when my breakfast was a slice of toast and a cup of coffee. Quick, simple, enough to get me to lunch. I thought it worked just fine until I started feeling lightheaded mid-morning, or strangely tired by 10 a.m., or found myself reaching for something sugary just to keep going. It took me a long time to realize that my breakfast was not doing me any favors. Especially after 65, what we eat in the morning really matters. So I made a small shift. I started adding some protein to my breakfast, something with substance that would fuel me for the hours ahead. A boiled egg, a bit of Greek yogurt, a piece of cheese with whole grain crackers, even a spoonful of peanut butter with half a banana. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive. Just real food that helps my body function. The change was quiet, but powerful. I stopped having that late morning crash. My energy stayed more stable. I felt clearer, less foggy, and most importantly, I was not starving by lunchtime, which meant I could actually enjoy lunch instead of devouring it. Protein helps regulate blood sugar. It helps maintain muscle, which becomes more important with every passing year. It even helps with mood because it gives the brain the nutrients it needs to stay focused and calm. Now, I do not eat a full diner-style breakfast every day. Some mornings are light, but I always make sure there is at least one source of protein. It makes the whole day go smoother. And honestly, it just feels good to feed my body something that supports it, rather than spikes and crashes. For people like us, keeping muscle strength is not just about going to the gym. It starts with what is on the plate, especially in the morning when your body is fresh and ready to absorb nutrients. You do not need to count grams or follow a strict plan. Just be mindful. Is there some form of protein here? If yes, great. If not, what small thing can I add? Over time, this has become a habit I look forward to. Breakfast feels more complete. My day feels more anchored, and I move through the morning without that dip in energy that used to sneak up on me. If you are still starting your day with just toast and coffee, try adding one small protein. You might be surprised how much better your morning feels with just one change on your plate. Taking a short morning walk, even just around the house or yard. There was a time in my life when I walked with a purpose. I walked to get to work, to run errands, to keep up with the kids. My steps had speed, direction, urgency. Then retirement came, and those reasons to walk started slipping away. The car did the errands, the house got quieter, the pace of life slowed down. At first, I thought that would feel like freedom, but it also came with stiffness, heaviness, and this strange lack of momentum, like I was stuck in one spot even though the clock kept ticking. What changed things for me was deciding to take a short walk every morning. I do not mean miles. I'm talking about 5 minutes, sometimes 10. Just enough to tell my body and my mind we are not done yet. We are still moving. We still have places to go, even if that place is just from the back door to the mailbox and back. Some mornings, I walk outside if the weather allows. I listen to the birds. I feel the air. I let the sun hit my face for a minute or two. And if the weather is not on my side, I walk inside, up and down the hallway, around the living room, in a small circle near the kitchen. It is not about the distance. It is about the motion. I used to think that unless I broke a sweat, it did not count as exercise. That kind of thinking did not help me. It only discouraged me. What I have learned is that especially as we age, movement does not have to be intense to be effective. A short walk each morning wakes up the joints. It gets the blood flowing. It improves circulation, which helps with everything from brain function to digestion to mood. I notice that when I walk, even a little, I feel less foggy. I stand a little taller. I breathe a little deeper. It is as if my body is saying thank you in small, quiet ways. There is also something emotional about walking. I find that it settles my nerves. It gives me time to think without pressure. When I move, I process. I reflect. Sometimes I do not think at all. I just let my feet lead and let the day begin gently. There is a rhythm to walking that helps organize my thoughts in ways sitting still cannot. If you live somewhere with a nice neighborhood path, that is wonderful. But if not, do not let that stop you. A walk can be 3 steps out the door or 2 laps around the dining table. What matters is the intention. You are telling your body, I value you. I want you to stay mobile. I want to keep using you, gently and wisely. There have been days when I skipped my walk. I felt the difference. My back ached more. My energy dipped earlier. My mood was flatter. These little signals reminded me that movement is not a luxury. It is medicine. Not the kind that comes in a bottle, but the kind you give yourself. One thing that helps me stay consistent is pairing my walk with something else I enjoy. I play an old song on my phone. I hum to myself. Sometimes I carry a warm cup of tea with me and take a few sips as I go. It becomes a ritual, not a chore. I never regret doing it. I always regret skipping it. So if you are feeling stiff in the mornings, or tired, or low, I invite you to try this. Just a short walk. No pressure, no rules. Just a few steps to remind your body and your spirit that the day has begun and you are still moving through it with purpose. One quiet step at a time. 6. Practicing the 3 to 3 to 6 breathing pattern to calm the mind and body. There is something strange that happens in the morning sometimes. I wake up, the house is quiet, everything is still, and yet I feel unsettled. My body is lying in bed, but my mind is already racing, thinking about bills, health appointments, people I miss, things I cannot control. And before I even get to breakfast, there is already a heaviness in my chest, like I am bracing for something that has not even happened. I never used to notice this. But now, with more time and fewer distractions, it is like the noise inside me has gotten louder. That is when I started trying something small, breathing, just breathing, in a very particular way. It is called the 3-3-6 breath. You inhale gently through your nose for 3 seconds. You hold that breath for 3 seconds, then you exhale slowly through your mouth for 6 seconds. That is it. No special posture, no candles, no music. Just a few minutes of intentional breathing, right where you are. You can do it sitting at the table, lying in bed, standing at the sink. And it might sound too simple to make a difference, but it really does. When I breathe this way, I can actually feel the tension in my shoulders begin to melt. My heartbeat steadies. My mind stops jumping from one thought to the next. It is like my body is saying, finally, you are listening. Science explains this, of course. They say slow, deep breathing activates the part of your nervous system that tells your body you are safe. It lowers your blood pressure. It calms anxiety. It helps with focus and even digestion. But honestly, I do not need the science to tell me it works. I can feel it. It is real. The best part is, it does not take long. I usually do 3 to 5 rounds. That is just a couple of minutes. Sometimes I count silently in my head. Sometimes I just follow the rhythm of my breath without numbers. The key is to slow down the exhale. Make it longer than the inhale. That tells your body, you are not in danger. You can let go. Some mornings I do this while my tea steeps. Other times I do it before I check my phone, just to set a calmer tone for the day. There are also days when I feel fine at first, but then something rattles me. A memory, a call, a bit of pain in my body. And I come back to the breath. Always the breath. It is the one thing I can control, even when everything else feels uncertain. What I love about this habit is how accessible it is. You do not need strength. You do not need time. You do not even need to be feeling your best. In fact, the worse I feel, the more I know I need it. There is comfort in knowing that no matter where I am, home, waiting at the doctor's office, sitting alone at lunch, I have this tool with me. Quiet, invisible, but powerful. I used to think deep breathing was something people only did in yoga classes or meditation retreats. But now I see it as something very practical, very human. It is not about being spiritual or disciplined. It is about pausing long enough to notice that I am here, I am alive, and I can choose how I respond to this moment. Numbers for that, gently checking your key health numbers each morning, like blood pressure or a blood sugar. One of the quiet realities of aging is that your body starts sending more signals, and some of them are easy to miss if you are not paying attention. A slight change in how dizzy you feel when you stand up. A little more swelling in your ankles than usual. That flutter in your chest you think will go away on its own. When I was younger, I could ignore those things. Now, in my 70s, I have learned it is not about fear. It is about awareness. That is why each morning after breakfast, I take a minute or two to check in with my body. Just a few small numbers. No panic, no pressure, just information. For me, that means measuring my blood pressure. Some mornings it is steady and calm. Other days, it creeps up without explanation. But either way, I know where I stand. And that knowing helps me make better choices during the day. If my pressure is high, I might skip that second cup of coffee. If it is low, I drink more water. These little adjustments add up. They are not dramatic, but they are smart. And most importantly, they help me feel like I am not just reacting to my health. I am participating in it. For others, especially if you have diabetes, it might mean checking your blood sugar. Or maybe it is your pulse. Maybe it is weighing yourself once a week to notice changes in water retention. Whatever matters most in your health story, the goal is not to become obsessive. It is to build a quiet rhythm, a way to stay in touch with your body before the busyness of the day begins. I use a digital blood pressure cuff. It is simple. I sit quietly at the table, feet flat, arms supported, and let the machine do the rest. It takes about 1 minute. I keep a small notebook nearby and write the number down. Over time, these notes become a conversation between me and my body. I can see patterns. I can talk to my doctor with confidence, and I do not forget what happened last week because it is right there in my handwriting. There is something empowering about this habit. It reminds me that even though I cannot control everything about aging, I can still take part in how I age. I am not just waiting for the next doctor visit to tell me what is wrong. I am staying connected to my own health, one small check at a time. This habit also brings peace of mind to my family. My daughter lives 2 states away. She worries, of course, but when I tell her I checked my numbers this morning and they were steady, I can hear her exhale. And that means something. It is not just for me. It is for the people who care about me too. If you are just starting out, begin small. Choose one thing. Blood pressure is a good place to start for many of us. Ask your doctor which numbers you should watch. Get a device that is easy to use. Keep it where you will see it, not tucked away in a drawer. Let it become part of your morning, like brushing your teeth or taking your vitamins. You do not have to do it every day, but when you do it gently. Not with worry, but with care. Take a breath. Sit down. Measure. Write it down. That is all. No drama. Just a quiet act of awareness and respect for the body that has carried you through so many years. I used to believe that mornings were just a way to get to the real part of the day. You wake up, check the weather, pour some coffee, maybe take your pills, and then the day truly begins. But the older I get, the more I understand that the morning is not just a doorway. It is the foundation. It is the quiet space where your choices matter most, because they are made before the world asks anything of you. These habits I shared are not about being productive or doing things perfectly. They are not about keeping up with anyone. They are about listening to your body, to your breath, to that quiet voice inside you that still wants to feel steady, alive, and well. In this chapter of life, when so many things have slowed down or changed, our habits become a way of caring for ourselves without rushing, without pressure, and without apology. Maybe you do not need all 7. Maybe you only try 1. That is more than enough. Because what truly matters is that you choose something that feels right for you, something that helps you meet the day with a little more clarity, a little more calm, and a little more care. Small things, done with intention, often make the biggest difference over time. And it is never too late to start treating yourself with that kind of kindness. So tomorrow morning, before the noise begins, take one small action. Drink that glass of water, stretch those shoulders, take a breath that is a little slower, a little deeper. Not because you have to, but because you deserve to. You are still here. You are still becoming. And each morning, no matter what came before, is another quiet chance to begin again.